Hey guys, so I got to sit down with Frank bloody Hickman. This dude, absolute lad, right? I met him a few years ago. He came down to Adelaide. He coaches a lot of UFC fighters. So he was down in town for the UFC in Adelaide and went to one of his seminars. Dude's an incredible wrestler, works with a lot of UFC fighters out of Bangtao MMA in Phuket, Thailand. He is Volkanovski's wrestling coach for quite a few years now, and he has a really good insight into what it takes to train these UFC fighters. Super interesting dude too, because him and his brother from North Carolina, now they're living in Thailand with one of the biggest MMA gyms over there. I'd say the biggest, and they do their own thing. They work with top level guys, and still very cool, down to earth dudes. I think that says a lot about the Hickman brothers, and Frankie, nothing but a good time. He puts in the work. Even seen him striking. The dude's quite sharp on the feet. So I had to get him on because, like I said, I've learned a lot from him. Seeing him move around, seeing some of the scrambles he has. Dude's a phenomenal wrestler, and obviously a very, very good coach as well. So we got straight into it, talked a bit about other sports, the college scene over in the States, and then how on earth him and his brother ended up from the US to running one of the biggest gyms in Phuket, Thailand. Hope you guys enjoy this episode of A Quick Razz. I got to clap first.
There it is.
There it is. Frankie, how we doing, mate?
Good, brother. Good. Thank you for having me on.
Dude, when did I met you a few years ago, eh?
Yeah, Adelaide.
Adelaide UFC. Went to your wrestling seminar, which was, I was still somewhat dabbling in wrestling then as a grappler. I just sit down and drag my butt across the floor now. But
that's genetic for you. You know what I mean? That's in the blood.
Craig does it. I do it.
You didn't really have a choice with that, though.
Nah, I don't feel like I'm built for shooting.
Sad though, because you could probably get away with it with your build. I've always said that the lankier body types can cause more issues and stuff for high level people.
Really?
Yeah. Same with wrestling in a way. I think the different builds, obviously there's all kind of builds, but you have short, stocky, long, gangly.
Yep.
The long, gangly guys, they tend to be at the top of the echelon, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been wrestling for?
Started when I was 6, 7 years old. I went in for a bit, and then my parents pulled me out because my attention span was fucked.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't ready. So they waited another year, then they chucked me back in, and then it was just kind of full speed ahead. I played other sports growing up, bit of football, baseball, did lacrosse a year, but wrestling was always the one that I did consistently every year.
Lacrosse is fucking mad, eh?
Yeah, I was a one-hit wonder in lacrosse.
Yeah.
I did it for a year in middle school, and then I was like, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a few teams in South Oz, and one of the girls at our gym, Rachel, she's a kickboxer there. She does it. She actually travelled over to Canada for it, and it's fucking a brutal sport, eh? Yeah. They get fucked up with it, eh? Hit with the sticks and everything.
Yep. Yeah, they get. Once you get to like the college level and stuff like that, you're getting whacked with sticks, shit like that. I mean, full lower in the shoulder, everything like that. A lot of them look at it from you got shoulder pads on, right? So I've seen some cunts get cleaned out.
So, growing up wrestling, you and your brother both sort of started around the same time?
George started before I did because he was old. He's 3.5 years older, so he started. Yeah, he started 3 years before I did, or so, 4 years. So I was always going to the tournaments.
Yeah, of course.
My parents
you really grew up in it then, eh?
Yeah, so I kind of grew up around it.
It's crazy over there too, because like wrestling's so ingrained in like American culture that we have a laugh down here with the wrestling side of things here. There's some good people here, but I guess because it's not in all the schools and stuff like that, it's just never going to be as huge and probably as many talented people come through, right?
Yeah. I think, in the U.S. you're blessed, especially now these days, but even when I was growing up, you had obviously wrestling, but you had football, baseball, basketball, soccer, swimming, whatever it is. They had a youth program for the most part for all the sports. Definitely nowadays, this is 25 years later, they definitely have it. But, I mean, as time goes on and sports evolve and grow, and now you see kids getting out of college and then they move home and then they kind of open a club or they open up a facility. When I was in middle school, high school, there was maybe 3 in the state of North Carolina. So you had to drive 2 hours, 2.5 hours one way just to get, extra. Yeah, right. We were fortunate. We had our club, and it was the boys, and then there was their dads. All of our dads, at some point they all wrestled, right? So they pulled what they could and did what they could, and then they also they brought in somebody else who could help elevate as well. And then once we got to high school, they stepped back, and then we had our coaches, right? But nowadays you see that you see more access to stuff, and I think with the college and NCAA, there's so much money in it that's why they put such an emphasis on college athletics. And I think in Australia, university sports isn't a big thing here, right?
No, it's almost more, I guess it's just like a hobby for people to play. We got basketball, I'm trying to think what they call it. We got clubs for basketball that you go and you pay to be a part of, and then that might be a feeder into the NBL and stuff.
Shout out to the Hawks, they just won it. Yeah. Wollongong Hawks just won it for the first time in a long time. So
oh, really?
They brought in an American coach, and then next minute.
Yeah, look, there are some neck minute. I like that.
Boys are at the top.
There are a few American players that come down and play for the NBL, but yeah, you're right. The uni sports and stuff really seems more like a hobby. I could be wrong there. I don't really follow any of it too much. I'm pretty much just into combat sports, and my mates have all managed to bend my arm to get into AFL.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a little bit of AFL lately. I don't hate it, but it's good vibe, having a few beers with the boys and cheering on we're the ones out there playing it.
I'm more of an NRL guy.
Yeah,
more of an NRL guy, but I guess that's y'all's, and it's weird because that's y'all's big thing, right? Is the footy, but in the States, again, you have the pro, you have the NFL, and then you also have the NCAA, you have the college version, so you get
isn't
both
there more
seasons.
Spectators at college? Yeah, that spun me out, eh?
So some of the stadiums, the Big House in Michigan, it's 100,000 plus people.
Holy shit.
Some of those Big Ten schools, those SEC schools, they're getting 100,000 plus people, spectators at a spring game, which is this is fucking 3 months after the season ends. This is their first practice, and it's just packed. So there's a lot of, and now with the the NIL, or NIL, whatever it is, they're getting more money now. The players have access, the players can get paid, which in return the coaches are getting probably paid more. There's sponsors involved, there's boosters involved. It's just completely turned the whole sports world, college, on its head. It's done a complete 180, and it's great. But also, there's also a dark side to that as well. A dark side. Now these smaller schools are going to have a much harder time competing with the bigger schools because they don't have the pockets that they have. You know what I'm saying? Some of these schools, they just they have good players, but the better they do, it's almost like their Achilles heel, because the better they do, now they have they got these 2 guys that are really standing out. Next minute somebody's approaching them. And here's a bit of coin for you. They jump ship, and it's again, this has come along 10 years after I competed, but now it's difficult for those schools, and just the Cinderella stories of the schools making it far and March Madness and stuff. You're going to probably start hearing much less about that because it's just becoming kind of non-existent for them to do that, right? But some of the money they're making is crazy, but good on them. They deserve it. You can't expect to make all this money off of them and not give them anything.
Yeah, well, that's it, eh? Like, at least some of it's going back to the guys actually doing the hard work, eh?
Yeah, doing the hard yard. And there's a lot more stuff, a lot more people. There's managers representing all these kids now. You know, it used to be just pro sports, but now some of them, they got better athletes in college than they got on the NFL roster, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck, when it's all said and done, I may jump into the managing side of things and shit like that. Like, it's...
For sure.
It's incredible.
So, how did you go from wrestling at college and, you know, growing all the way up to, you know, the Hickman bros, like, you guys have worked with so many top MMA athletes, and I was actually having a laugh yesterday because I've been calling it Bangtao. Yeah. And I'm an idiot, and Maxie was like, Bangtao, and I was like, oh yeah, there's no other A in there.
Yeah,
right?
that's the first time I've heard that. I like that. That's good.
So, yeah, like, I know you guys, when you first, I think when I was in Thailand, you guys might have still been a Tiger, I reckon, and I don't reckon it was that long after I was there that you guys opened Bangtao.
Yep.
Because where are you from in the States?
We're from North Carolina.
So,
Southeast.
How did two brothers from North Carolina all of a sudden end up in Thailand working with, I mean, you guys are with Volks, I've seen you with Izzy, I'm sure there's a bunch of other names that I haven't said, you know, but I know you guys work with so many UFC fighters. Yeah. How did that all come about?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate, man. My life has been fortunate for that. We were living in Atlanta. We both used to sell cars for Hendrick Automotive. He's the king of NASCAR. He's a good lad.
Yep.
He had heaps of dealerships, and when I graduated college, I moved to Atlanta. My brother had already been there for about 4 years. And just under a year I was there, he ended up moving to Thailand. So he ended up moving and going to Tiger and doing the tryouts. That's where he met Brad, Volk, Woody, Alex. That's where all the boys kind of linked up. They did the tryouts the same year. And then he started doing the coaching of the wrestling there and stuff, and then helping with the MMA and stuff. And he was still fighting at the time. And then, I went to go coach for a year at Appalachian State. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't the right time for me to be fucking leading young adults.
Yeah.
Went back to the car business for 2 years. But in that meantime, I had a little, 2 months off to where I went and visited my brother for 3 weeks in Phuket. And I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, fuck, I need to see if I can maybe one day get out here. And then did some thinking. Obviously, I got back, worked for 2 years in the car business, and then I just figured it was time to do something different, right? Always wanted to be close to the sport of wrestling. And then the MMA side of things helped me with that because I was close to the sport, but I didn't have to deal with the politics of just recruiting, and you deal with parents and shit like that, and you deal with obviously your bosses and stuff, right, at the university, and you know, and I love the wrestling side of things and all that, and the relationships and the traveling, but that was the one side that I was like, oh fuck, you know, I'm not trying to deal with these parents. But now with the MMA, it's different, you know. So yeah, I got to Thailand and just jumped into it. That was the best thing I could probably do, was just jump into it head first, started sparring. Yeah. Obviously doing the wrestling thing, but I just tried to get involved and get in the mix right away with everything. So hit the ground running. Yeah, I enjoyed my time at Tiger. I think we all did. COVID happened. Yeah. And it was just kind of time for us to do our own thing, go our own way. And COVID obviously was a scary time for everything. Nobody really knew what the fuck was going on or what was going to happen, but we realized that was probably the best time to do it. If we were going to do it, it should have been then. Yeah, and the boys got it in motion. Alex did a great job of putting his head together, and he's a smart one out of all of us. You know? Yeah. So he, and we all just backed each other. You know, when we had some good people helping us at the beginning and along the way, and still now, you know, we have a great team around us. You know, everybody that works for us at the gym or I work with, I love, right? From the cleaning ladies to the kitchen ladies to the girls in the front office, the trainers. Yep. All good people. And I can truly say I don't really work at all. I mean, I work, but what I do, I feel like it's not work. You know,
love it,
I love it. I show up to the gym every day. I can talk shit with customers. I can rip on the Aussies when I see them because I can point them out from a fucking mile away.
Yeah.
They're usually trying to smoke darts out back. I tell them, take it across the street.
Yeah,
and it's good. And obviously Thailand's a special place.
Fuck,
it's hot.
Beautiful,
it's hot year round.
Yeah.
Rains a bit, but fuck, man, that's the least of the worries. You got the beach.
Scooters,
sunshine.
Yeah.
Thai people are lovely people.
Yeah.
As long as you don't piss them off. And I enjoy it, man.
You guys get some fucking stomper names come through too, like GSP. I've seen there maybe a couple of times.
Yeah.
John Jones.
John Jones, man.
He was looking big when he was over there too.
Yeah. Big boy.
I'm trying to think of...
Obviously the Rager.
Yeah.
Got in the Rager. Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, true. Like, it's the spot to go. Like, for years, obviously, it was Tiger. And then, I only trained there for a few days. But, next time I get to Thailand, man, I'm coming straight to you guys because, fuck, that place looks sick. And then you see all the big names that come through. That must be wild for just the guys that train there all the time, just to see a poster all of a sudden. It's like, oh, what? John Jones is coming next month?
Yeah. It's we wanted to be able to bring people in to where you can meet them. Obviously, like some of these people, they're retired, but some are still fighting. They're in the game. They're at the top of the pinnacle, or they've retired and they're still at the top of the pinnacle, right? There's some legends that have come through. And just for the normal person, if you've seen them on TV but you've never been able to see them in person, we give you an opportunity to come, and they do great with it, man. I think people really love it. They enjoy it. Some of them get to see their favorite fighters, or they really do geek out. But that's what we want to do for it, And it's good for the guys at the gym and stuff like that to see these people and be able to train with them and kind of pick their minds, because obviously it's a newer generation now of like MMA. Than it was prior. So again, the sport's always evolving and growing, and things are changing. So to see different stuff from different eras, I mean, that's a benefit for them. And we just wanted to give them a platform for that. So
yeah, dude, it's fucking wild to see. I'll see the posts and I'm like, fuck, I wish I was over there, eh?
Yeah.
And then I've been watching you this week move around with Volks, and then I even seen you in the striking class throwing down.
That's actually my background.
Really?
Yeah.
A striker?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, a bit of this, bit of that.
Oh yeah.
So, but I'll take the either or, right? The wrestling or the striking, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the way you flow with your rolls too, like I was watching you shoot, and then I actually asked Craig about it because you'd go to shoot, and if you didn't feel like you could move through them, you'd actually like come back, and I would never call it a guard pull, but the way you did it to sweep them over your head, I was like, no shit, maybe that is something that I could add into my game as a, I'll wrestle up from time to time off my bottom, but as far as when I stand, it's always neckties and then try and pull them down. But watching you move around with these guys, the way you flow, is that like something that you've picked up from over the years? Because I know that different colleges have different styles, and you hear about Ben Askren's, is it the funk or something?
Early 2000s he came along with the funk. Again, it's always growing with the rule changes. They're always changing the rule, they're adapting the rules, so you have to adapt with the rule change, right, in college. So recently the big thing they did was they added the back points. Like the system's a bit different. The takedown's now 3 points. The scrambling, they're still scrambling, but nowadays I feel like it's just a bit less, because now they put in the rule, if you're on your back and they like do a back point, they do that twice, then it's an automatic takedown. So people are like, you can still scramble, but you also got to be aware of the positions you're in. And with that, obviously comes, you have to be able to coach around that as well. So, but I think that's just something that I've picked up just from the years and years of wrestling, And you're right, every school does things different. Every school has their system, their repertoire, how they go about things. and they're all different, but you just pick it up. I mean, from years of doing it, and now with the MMA, I do try to make it more MMA based, but you still, some of these people that you grapple, for me to just try to grapple and do jits with them, it's probably not going to work out for me, right? So I just gotta like kind of wrestle a bit and adapt it how I need to adapt it. But I also try to, obviously, you learn things along the way.
Yeah.
And you just try to like blend it and mix it. And that's what I found. But yeah, I think with the rule changes and everything, the rule system, you've had to adapt to it. You know, obviously with Ben Askren, he had his own style, and nobody had ever seen that fucking style.
Yeah. I always hear stories about him and his wrestling, and it's like, yeah, you saw how dominant he was. I think people see the Masvidal knockout and they all, or fucking Jake Paul, but like before that, he was feared.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not the biggest fan, I'll say it now, of like the MMA guys going into the boxing. And like, I know, not what Jake Paul, he promotes it and brings more eyes to the sport, so good on him. But at that time when they fought, I wouldn't really considered him a decorated like boxer. He obviously had more than me, but I guess it's how you look at somebody's, how long they've been in it, et cetera, et cetera. But don't get me wrong, he's done great with the short time he has. But I've always thought the MMA guys going into the boxing can be difficult because you're like stepping into somebody else's world, right?
Yeah,
That's
sure.
like if you took a boxer and you brought him in MMA, I'm sure it would be much different, right?
James Toney, Randy Couture.
Yeah.
Greatest fucking ankle pick of all time.
It's much different. So it's like when those guys go over there and they do that, I'm like, fuck, man.
You hope they're getting paid.
You hope they're getting paid because, and credit to them, they're stepping out of the realm, but like it's just, it can be a slippery slope. I look at Nagano. He did great against Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Dropped him. Fuck, man, he was buzzing. He was on cloud 9, and then, you know, again, he rolled the dice. He dared to be great, so credit to him. But Anthony Joshua, it was, you know, that was like a different kind of story.
Sickening. How hard that fucking knockout was.
Yeah, man, that was a tough one. But again, hopefully, boys got paid, and at the end of the day, the boys are getting paid, and it gives eyes to the sport. Fuck, I'm in for it, I guess. You know. So
if we petition for Frankie versus Jake Paul in a boxing match, you jump in there?
Yeah, 100% I would. I mean, I would need a proper camp.
Yeah.
I'd probably get the boys involved. Get my game plan on with my stand up with the Riddell. Get them and get all the boys involved, and then that'd be sweet. But that's something you definitely have to take serious. Like, I think these guys are getting paid and it's great, but like, if you get the offer and it's there and you realize, I got 5 months, fuck, you gotta stop everything and just completely dedicate.
Focus on the boxing.
You gotta focus on that, man.
Because from all accounts, he trains fucking properly. Like even when Craig was down with the Paul brothers, he was like their facility they have, and he was rolling with Logan and stuff, and he was like, Jake's just training. Like he's training properly. Yeah. So you do have to give him credit for. And like, man, I fucking tune in. Yeah. You know, I tune in.
I mean, I watched the fight with him and Tyson. Yeah, again, he's getting paid. I think those numbers that he made was like absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Netflix boxing deal. Fucking next level.
But they're taking up everything now. They're swooping in on everything. They're gonna do a deal with the UFC and stuff like that.
So shit.
Yeah, fucking credit to them, man.
Yeah.
I think I just saw something online that ESPN was having like difficulties with some streams and some stuff like that with the ESPN, and I think they're kind of going in the direction now of maybe the Netflix thing. So
yeah, true.
I mean, that'd be huge, right?
Well,
if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
That's it, and you know that's going to get more eyes on the sports that we're somewhat. I mean, you're a lot more involved than me. I just coach jiu-jitsu at the gym, but yeah, the more eyes, the better for everybody, really.
Yeah. Better for everybody, man. That's what it's about. Bringing more eyes to the sport, getting them paid more, because obviously they should be compensated for what they fucking do for a living.
Yeah. Seeing how hard they train, like this week, like we've got fighters at our gym, and you know, obviously there's levels to it, and I know how hard they work back home, and I guess it's all relative to where you're at in your career. But yeah, I've got a whole new appreciation, I can fully understand why Volks was the fucking GOAT, you know, and it's it was incredible to be a little fly on the wall, you know what I mean? So
yeah, this is these are some of the best trips for me, man. Like when you actually stop and slow down time and like look at it from the outside in of like who's around, like who's around the camp and the names and the faces and yeah, you gotta kind of sometimes pinch yourself, I guess, right? Because you know, you got what a time for like Australian MMA. Volk's, you know, gonna get the belt back. Jack Della's gonna get the belt. That's insane to think that two of the Aussie boys like that. Brad Riddell's here. You know, Brad's coming back. I would say within the next couple months, he says he wants to, you know, make his comeback, which is sweet.
sick.
And then you got obviously Lopez. You got your brother Craig. You got Huge kicking around.
Yeah.
Some of the young fellas you see coming in, and then guys at the gym already, Colby, and then the guys coming up that have been there. You know, obviously Lockjaw, Kasib, all of them. Then you got the young fellas, Max and Hassan, around for the ride. So it's it's awesome. Yeah, what a time, really.
It's a good time to be a fucking MMA fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. It really is, especially in a place like Australia where there is a lot of good talent. You know? I've always said that Australia, New Zealand has some of the best stand-up in the world, right?
We just need the Hickman bros to come down more often, do a seminar run, I reckon.
Fuck, man, to be honest with you, between New Zealand and Australia, I'd say in the past 6 years, I hope this doesn't get me blocked from immigration, I've probably been to eat 10 times each, probably.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been to Australia, in and out, Windang, or whether it's Sydney or Melbourne, Perth.
Yeah.
Obviously the Goldie, whatever, Adelaide, and then obviously Auckland several times over the past 6 years, a lot. But again, some of the best times ever, right?
Making memories, mate.
Yeah. Australia's a great place. I think Windang's a scumhole.
yeah. You sound like Craig then, mate.
It is. It can be. It's definitely no Shell Harbour, that's for sure, Shell Cove. But I will say, it is better than Auckland. It's better than New Zealand, yeah.
Really?
But I think if anything ever happened down the road when I retire, Australia would be a cool place to kind of put your feet up. Yeah, you can make it work. It'd be a cool place. People are easy going. You know, if you're in the right spot, the weather's good. So
I think you'd be able to walk into any MMA gym anywhere in Australia and be like, I'll take that coaching role.
Oh, man. By that time, hopefully I'd have somebody who's a bit younger than me, who knows the system, who can help.
You could be like a Joe Lopez, sitting off to the side with a stick pointing.
Yeah. Losing his mind every fucking 2 minutes. Doesn't know where he is. I'm always like, Joe, you good? He's like, So bless Lopez.
Oh, he's the best.
The pinnacle, right? Lopez is like, he's the glue that holds everything together. It's cheap glue.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Elmer's glue.
Yeah.
But he does good at it. So I got to give him credit when it's due, man. You know, Joe's somebody who's been in the game a long time. Seen it all. Security, fucking nightclubs, MMA, martial arts. He's seen it all. Surfing.
Yeah.
You know.
Few weeks out of the nursing home.
A few weeks when he gets loose.
Yeah.
It's when he gets out is when I'm worried. Then they gotta like find him, bring him back in. It's a process.
Craig and Joe collab when they go out. That's a worry for everyone.
There's not many people that make Joe as happy as that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
That's always a concerning prospect. Those two together.
But it's an easy sell.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? It's an easy sell. That's quality entertainment right there.
Yeah, they need to have a TV show. Yeah. Well, Frankie, we'll do a nice little short one. Thank you so much.
Easy, bro.
To see everything that you guys have done is awesome. And doesn't matter where you're from, you can still fucking move to the other side of the world and have a successful gym and work with goats.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You appreciate you having me on. As always, good to see you.
Let's get you back to Adelaide soon, mate.
I would love to get back to Adelaide at some point. Yeah, it'd be good.
Take you out in the town.
Yeah, I remember last time I was out in Adelaide, it was a good time. The beaches there were nice.
Yes, yeah, the beaches are dope down there.
But I don't think it's no Phuket, but it'll work. We'll make it work.
We'll get there, bro. We'll get there. Thanks again, mate.
Easy, brother.